Have you ever wondered what powers the greatest corporate comeback in history? Well, it all comes down to one single secret idea, an idea that Steve Jobs brilliantly stole to save Apple from the brink of collapse. This is a story about marketing, sure, but it's really about identity and completely changing the rules of the game.
To really get how high the stakes were, you have to understand this number, 90. In 1997, Apple, the company that basically started the personal computer revolution, was just 90 days away from going completely bankrupt. They'd lost their way. They'd lost their soul. So how in the world do you pull a company back from a cliff like that? It doesn't start with a new product. It starts with a new idea. And in this case, the idea that saved Apple didn't come from the world of tech at all. Nope, it came from a war fought over shoes. To really understand Apple's incredible revival, we have to jump in our time machine and go back to the 1980s. Because the secret playbook was actually written during a crazy, fierce battle in a totally different industry, the shoe war. So on one side, you had Adidas. These guys were the undisputed kings, a German engineering powerhouse. Their whole pitch was super simple and logical. Our shoes are better because they have better tech. And on the other side, you had Nike, this scrappy American underdog just trying to fight their way into the market. And for a good while there, logic was winning. It made sense. Adidas had the better products, they had the history, the reputation. If you were just buying shoes based on features and performance, Adidas was the clear, sensible choice. No question. But here's where things get really interesting. Nike knew, they absolutely knew, they couldn't win playing by Adidas's rules. So they just stopped playing their game. They decided to start a revolution of their own. And then, in 1988, they launched a campaign that changed everything. Just do it. This wasn't just some catchy tagline. No way. This was a manifesto. It was a completely new way to think about how you connect with people. So let's break this revolutionary playbook down, because it's genius. First, they stopped selling a product and started selling an idea, the idea of courage, of pushing your limits. Second, they honored athletes like Michael Jordan not as salesmen, but as living symbols of greatness. And third, and this is the most important part, they made the customer the hero. The message wasn't about Nike, it was about you and your potential. And with that move, all of a sudden, Nike wasn't a company that sold shoes anymore. They became a company that sold a feeling, an identity. They were selling the idea that inside every single one of us, there's an athlete just waiting to get out. And the result? An absolute cultural explosion. Okay, so hit the fast forward button. We're back in 1997. A desperate Steve Jobs is back at the helm of a failing Apple. And what does he see when he looks at the computer industry? He sees the exact same dynamic, the exact same war. You see, the world of personal computers was just its own boring feature war. Companies like Dell, HP, Compaq, they were the Adidas of their day. All they did was compete on specs, selling megahertz and megabytes of RAM. Their ads were just these logical, totally uninspiring lists of features. Now, Jobs was a huge admirer of Nike, and he knew Apple couldn't win that war. So he stole the Nike playbook, page for page. He launched the Think Different campaign. And that famous Crazy Ones ad, it doesn't show a single computer, not one. Instead, it honors the icons, the rebels who changed the world. And this, right here, this lays the playbook out bare. It's so clear. The old way sold product features. The message was, our product is better. And the hero was the product itself. But the revolutionary way, the one Nike and Apple used, they sold an idea. The message was, we believe in what you can become. And the hero was the customer. That simple shift, well, it's the difference between a one-time transaction and building a loyal tribe. Think Different gave Apple its soul back. And the fundamental lesson behind it all, the secret that powered both of these incredible turnarounds, is about selling a why, not a what. And this is the secret. It's the why. It's not the product you make. It's the purpose behind the product. Because as humans, we don't connect with things. We connect with beliefs. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Let that sink in for a second. This just illustrates it perfectly, right? Nike isn't really in the shoe business. They're in the business of personal greatness. And Apple, they don't really sell computers. They sell tools for the misfits and the rebels who are just crazy enough to think they can change the world. Ultimately, this simple but absolutely profound shift is what separates a pretty good company from a true cultural icon, one that wins hearts and minds for generations.
It's all about moving from selling a what to communicating a why. So all of this brings us to the final critical question. And it's a question for you. Whether you're building a startup or maybe just your own personal brand, the lesson from Nike and Apple is exactly the same. Don't just focus on what you do. You've got to start with why you do it. So what is the why behind your brand? If you want to learn how to apply powerful ideas just like this one to your own journey, make sure to subscribe to Finologix for more breakdowns. Hey, thanks for watching.